What is up, guys? It's Verns back again with another Supercoach video. This time it is the round 9 review. Look, before I jump on into it, I had my engagement this weekend, like my engagement party. It was good. It was a lot. It was honestly a lot. I mean, look, we had like 130, 140 people there. Uh, Look, everyone keeps telling me that they really had a good night, so I'm glad I held a good event. But I guess for anyone that has, been engaged or apparently, at a wedding before, it is a lot, and you just don't have time to really see people. Like, I just felt like, 2 minute conversations with people, moving on to greet other people, then you're doing photos, then you're greeting, then your speeches, then people are leaving, you're saying goodbyes, and I felt like the first 3 to 4 hours I didn't really get time to actually enjoy my own engagement, unfortunately. Um, but look, it was still good. It was just a lot. I was very sweaty too. Last Saturday was like 32 down here in Victoria, and it was like that until late into the night. Yeah, it was a big night. It was a good night. Don't get me wrong there. I just wish I could have seen everyone a bit more. I feel like what I did more than anything was just book in times to actually see people so I can catch up with them properly rather than being able to talk to them there, unfortunately. Um, Sorry, one sec. Pretty sure that mutes my mic. I'm hoping it does. We'll figure that out in the edits. I honestly won't be doing edits, but yeah. Also, guys, it's a random Saturday. I know it's like a week late, but look, we had the FIBA break, and I just like didn't feel rushed because we had the week off. I was like, oh, look, it doesn't really matter. If anything, me doing it later in the week's almost better because we get more information. And look, we did see obviously in the Boomer game that Bannon did roll his ankle, which is really unfortunate. Hopefully he'll be back for Brisbane. I mean, it is just a rolled ankle, but you never know with these kind of things, especially with how athletic these people are and how big they are. Coming down on an ankle in the wrong way can actually be really serious. So, I mean, it could be really bad for those guys that brought in Bannon. Really good for maybe our Casey Prather owners, unlike the week that's just gone, unfortunately. And also after this, I'm probably just going to jump on and stream for a little bit. That might sound weird, but I'm probably just going to stream some video games. I've got to be honest. My missus has work until like 2:30. I've really got nothing else on today. It is, what, meant to be 37 today. That's insane. I've just got the AC pumping in my room with the doggo, and I just don't have anything else to do. Most of my mates don't really game in the day. It's more of a nighttime thing. So I'm just sort of like, damn, I'm just going to like game by myself in the day. So thought I might as well stream it. So if you guys are interested in that, I'll put a link in the description below. Feel free to click on, come join me. It's not going to be anything good, but I mean, if you want to talk NBL with me, I'm always happy to talk NBL. I'll try my best, though. I do get pretty distracted on actually focusing on the games. But yeah, just thought I'd throw that out there for a little bit of extra, content or different content there. Not something I do regularly either. I just have the freedom right now to do it, so why not? But yeah, in regards to the week, we scored 338. That's 1,000 for the round rank overall, 1,022. So pretty good there. We made up 378 positions. We're into the top 2,000, maybe for the first time. Maybe I'm back. I'm not too sure. I don't quite remember. But look, we're heading in the right direction. The team's coming together. Unfortunately, the team value is fucking garbage. Sorry for the language. I usually don't like to swear, but just like it's bad. I know I got 177k sitting in the bank, which I don't think, as I said, factors into this, but still, it's just not enough money. So we will jump to the team. We will talk about a few things. Doolittle gets injured in game 2, so unfortunately for those Doolittle captainers, they just got wrecked because he got stuck on 34. Casey Prather didn't play the second game, which is actually better that he didn't play rather than playing and getting a 0, just because it meant that he still got like 18k cash and he still has a good break even coming into this round. Yeah, 3 break even, made 15k, so we made some money, and it sucks, but he was still technically our second best forward player, so it was still fine. Lopez did enough. He's earned money. His break even's really high, but now New Zealand do have 4 double doubles in a row, so he is someone that we can just leave on the bench to just like do his thing. Saying that though, there's a lot of money on his head, like 270k. Like, this kid is good, and I do love what I see from him, but it is 2 away games this weekend as well. As we can see there, they're playing at Win and they're playing at RAC, and that's a really big travel for New Zealand as well. So I am kind of wondering here, maybe we do trade him just because of all that cash on his head. He didn't unfortunately make us a boatload of money, but he still made us pretty good money. I mean, 22k this week. Obviously, if you got him on the week before me, congrats. But we still made, what, 56k? That's still good money. I mean, if you got him before this, I would feel very confident of trading him out if I got him at this like 144k mark. But yeah, because I got him at this 214, he has a good schedule. I'm kind of thinking, oh, We could keep him, especially because this week he could be the on-field option for Prather. So that's the annoying thing there. The good news with unfortunately Doolittle not playing the second game is that Pinder got to go off, and that was awesome. Because whenever Doolittle does bad, Pinder does well. Whenever Pinder does bad, Doolittle does well. So Doolittle's not there. Pinder has a massive game. Awesome. He's more of the pod pick than Doolittle, and a lot of people captain Doolittle, so it just actually worked in our favor. Then we have Zukowski, who came back with a big one. Really surprising. I told a lot of people not to get on him because he just hasn't been what we need this season. It's been really lackluster and really disappointing. But he gets the 13 against Taz, which is good enough. And then I'm pretty sure it's the Perth game. It was one of these games, and Harrison ended up in foul trouble early and just not playing any of the game. I'm pretty sure it's the Perth game. So you had Doolittle and Harrison playing very little minutes. Obviously Doolittle from injury, Harrison from foul trouble. But Zukowski gets to come on and shine, and he just drops 23, and it's awesome. And he's over there getting the Boomers experience as well. So yeah, really good shit from him. Yeah, awesome stuff. Cook, we brought him in, we captained him. He was a high scorer for the round. Went to plan. This is the first time this year I feel like everything's gone to plan in that aspect. We brought someone in, we captained them. They were the pod captain, and they worked out dividends. So that really gave us a leg up on the competition, and probably a reason that we had such a high score. Obviously, on this note, we will talk about Bateman, who scored 89 and 67 in one game. He had quite a low first game, maybe 83 in total, because he only got 16 in the first game, then 67. Scores 51 points, makes a record. Like, congrats to him. I'm sure that if you've been watching this channel for a while, we all know that I was really, like, Bateman was the guy I was going to be going for, but then the way break-evens worked out, Cook just ended up being the better buy on the round, and because of this, we ended up making they still made the same money. Cooks just got outscored, but I probably wouldn't have captained Bateman. So the positives here is I brought in Cooks, we got the captaincy, and we made the correct play. And Bateman was always a much higher risk, and to a degree, the reward's pretty similar. He made about the same money, a little bit more points, but you probably weren't captaining him if you were bringing him in, so you probably lost points there. So it probably evens out in a lot of ways. If anything, maybe Cooks ends up the better buy, which, yeah, very happy with that. Webster, 25, I've got to be happy in the sense that he scored 3 in the first game, and I sat there thinking, shit. And then PJC gets 25, the guy that I considered running on a single over him, and I sat there going, okay, that's his lowest score of the season. Webster just needs to get a 22 to draw, or 23 to beat him. He gets the 22 to draw, and I don't feel so bad about this because I'm sure a lot of people had PJC on the field. Benny Henschel comes out with a really nice 44, also over with the Boomers, getting some good experience there. But yeah, PJC's lowest score of the season, someone that's been super consistent. Saying that, if this is the lowest score of the season, it's crazy. I mean, look at all these scores. This is his first score in the 20s, which is insane. And this game against Cairns, it was entertaining until Rob Edwards got fouled out, and then the last 6 minutes was basically just game over. New Zealand ran over them pretty quickly. But yeah, PJC unfortunately just didn't really do enough in this game. I'm struggling to remember exactly. I feel like in the last few minutes he went to the bench because it was a blowout. It got blown out in the last few minutes. But yeah, we will look into this week. This week, the most important teams we're looking at, we're just going to jump to players real quickly like we always do. We're going to filter for them. So we want New Zealand guys because they got 4 doubles in a row. Perth guys still have 2 doubles in a row. Illawarra have 1 double right now, and Sydney have 1 double right now. Now, saying that though, next week, Brisbane start their 9 doubles in a row, so they are people you need to consider. And Adelaide technically have a double next week, then a single, then 2 or 3 doubles after that, so their schedule isn't bad either. Someone that you'd kind of want to target next week, but the only reason I bring them up is really just KD here. Obviously he dropped a 62 in a single, which is so good. He has a 4 break even. This man comes out with 40, he's going to get another 36k, he's going to be 470k. Bro, we can't bring in someone for 470k. That's literally impossible. He's going to be the best scoring player on a single, on a double next week, and there's no way to get him. It's literally impossible. Like, what are we meant to do? And that just really benefits those that have made a bit more cash and they are able to get to him, because it sucks. I mean, I would love to bring him in this week, but then to bring him in for this week and get 1 single, then a double. The only way I can get him in is, moving PJC to him, and that's still costing me 18k. And even then, PJC has 2 doubles, and he's, like, the highest averager in the league. So, oh, man, I wish I could get KD. I really wish I could run PJC KD next week, but it's just not happening, unfortunately. So, look, we will take Adelaide out because they're the only ones. I mean, obviously, we had the drama with Trez. I really hope Trez doesn't get suspended. I know that might just sound weird considering what happened, but he's just entertaining. He's good for the league. He's just, first of all, he brings in viewers. Second of all, like, he's very entertaining to watch. He's very good to watch. And third of all, it's just like, it's very good advertisement just for the NBL in general. Very good advertisement for these like ex-NBA players or things like that. It's what we want. We don't want to be suspending them and then it being like, driving these players away and driving these future prospects away. But at the same time, you can't really have that in a league. But there's so much more to it than what he did. Like, I really hope he gets off. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like, I'm just gonna hope he gets off. But yeah, we will take Adelaide out of it because they are on the single, unfortunately. Brisbane, the biggest consideration here is we've got to jump to break evens, and it is a Bateman on a -10, which is insane. Obviously, if he comes out and gets a 30, he goes up 40k, and that sucks. We missed 40k on him. But we did see, just in the most recent games, as we sort of mentioned, he dropped to 16, and then he dropped to 67. Like, his inconsistencies are real. Like, look at this, 13, 6, 21, 26, 28. This is when he finally started hitting form, and I know I was licking my lips and thinking, nice, we can get Bateman for cheap. But then he drops a 13, then a 34, then a 15, then a 16, then a 67. The inconsistencies are insane. So he's kind of someone that I want to bring in to ride on my bench, but I don't know if I want to be paying this kind of money for someone to ride on my bench, because if I pay this kind of money for someone to ride on my bench, then I can't get the proper on-field forward that I want. And as I sort of mentioned, I have to run Lopez on the field, or players at that caliber, and it's like, but I want people like Trez instead, like I don't want this. Sorry, I just, yeah. So it's unfortunate. Something that I do want to look into the forecast of the future is if he goes 43, then yeah, his break even still stays pretty high because then he's got the double next week. Yeah, and if he goes 44 in the double, he'll still make 11k. So look, that's assuming he goes 43. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the way it will work is, yeah, we'll really only take into account the game 10. But yeah, his price tag will go insane. No, I mustn't. Oh yeah, no, because it would, because he would still be, yeah, roughly around that price. Either way, we can get him next week and he can be a bench rider, but at the same time, do I want to pay 330k for someone to ride my bench? Oh, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of dosh. I don't know about that. So that's also questionable. Darling's meant to actually be back after the FIBA break, so he's meant to be back in the coming week. So he's got a nice low break even with Prather. It's bit unfortunate for us that Prather didn't play, but even more unfortunate that now all these people that didn't get Prather now get the jump on him with a low break even and 15 to 30k cheaper than what he would have been if he probably got up and played. So really unfortunate there for us, but it is what it is. We will jump back to just the actual summary of things. So Bateman was really the only one that we're looking at when it comes to Brisbane for this week. So then we got 4 other teams. Now it's really hard to look at Sydney and Illawarra because they just have one double, and then they're back to singles, which sucks. Obviously, Jalen Adams has finally hit some goddamn form. Super annoying. But also that break-even, 42, that price tag, 337k. Yeah, obviously we rode him throughout a lot of this really poor patch. And then, boom, he explodes, finally. It's 2 things here. One, do you want to bring in a guy that's had consistent back complaints throughout the year that flares up at any point in time? We know that that's what can happen with backs for 1 week. Or are you just going to bring in goddamn Bryce Cotton, who's cheaper, has 2 doubles in a row, and has a better break even? Like, let's be honest here. You're just going to bring in Bryce. The only reason they're bringing in Adams is if you're just trying to antipod, or maybe you have a plan to bring in Adams and then after that bring in KD and antipod Bryce with those 2, which that's plausible, but you have to make sure you got your future planning planned out. So I want to look at that. Oliver, obviously a yin yang. He comes out with 31 this week. So confusing what's happening with that man. Cooks, yeah, I don't feel confident with him either. I don't feel confident with a lot of these guys. If we look at Illawarra, Frolling's probably been the most consistent sort of guy. Watching him win the Boomers game, though, holy shit, this guy misses some easy buckets consistently. Very frustrating. Mooney bounced back this week, so that's good at least. barely bounced back. I think in the last 5 minutes of the game, where the game was on the line, Mooney went ahead and got like 7 points and a steal, and he ended up picking up like at least an extra 10 to 12 Supercoach in the last like 5 minutes of the game when like Rob Edwards was subbed out and the game was kind of over, and he managed to save a score there because otherwise people were looking at like a 14-16 from Mooney, and that would have been super painful. Now Darius Day's super interesting one. He's coming into a double. His break even isn't very high, but that's because he's so cheap and he's been in such terrible form. This form is unbelievable. I don't know what happened after this incredible start, but then he went 16 and people would just wave that off that it's fine. Comes into a double and goes 9 and 23 and you would have been like, what the fuck just happened? Then he goes 23, 13, 9. I don't know what to say here. He doesn't look like the same guy. He doesn't look like he's got the same hunger. His shots aren't dropped. I don't know. I feel like he's not getting the minutes either. Someone's going to tell me that. Is he not getting the minutes? Is that the biggest thing here? Windler, also someone else that came out with a massive game, really low break even. Yeah, really liking what Windler does, and I feel like he's finally hit his groove in the NBL, and that's sort of what happens with these inputs sometimes. They sometimes take a few games to hit their strides. So he's hit his strides now. He's looking good. He's cheap. He's affordable. I honestly want to bring him on in. So we will just jump to the team. We will actually look at our trades. I've got to be honest, I'm kind of over Webster. I think this is a good week for Perth players because they have 2 games at home. So it's too obvious here. You either need a Bryce or you go Jalen into KD, which means you have to plan for next week. We'll talk about that after we sort of... it's very hard because I'm not even sure what's happening with these other trades. I do think Webster's the one that goes. He has the higher break-even between Henschel and him. And I'm not getting rid of PJC. Like, PJC is just meant to come on this week for Cooks. That's nice and easy. That was always the plan. So Webster needs to go. We've banked a lot of money, though, and because of that, we can go straight to Bryce Cotton if we want. The only problem with Adams to Davis next week is you still need 100K in your pocket. I don't know where you can get that from. And as I mentioned, it is 2 home games for Bryce, so he did get held back in the Brisbane game, but I don't think that was... I think he was just having an off game more than anything. But yeah, you could bring in Bryce. So let's just go through the 2 scenarios. Bryce comes in, and the other guy I really want to leave my team is Robertson. I've talked about it for weeks, getting rid of him, but the situation has just fallen that each week I've had to do something else or deal with something else, and he's just lost 10, 17, 20. He's basically lost 50K for me because I've been stuck to hold him for this period of time. I should have traded him after this 10, but that was the week that I had to move on Cam Oliver, I believe. No, I moved on Cam Oliver the week before. I forgot what I did, but I had to move on someone. But yeah, he needs to go. He isn't it anymore. Adams is back to like full fitness, it looks like. And unless Adams is getting injured, it's just not happening. It does suck that he's 85K though. Does it matter that he's running on my bench not doing anything? Probably not. That was my whole plan with Zakowski. But like, I really want someone in that can actually do something. But 50K, I can't bring anyone in. That's the problem. Like, I look to trade this guy, and if I filter for players I can afford, it's no one. It's no one of any worth. Like, Lepepe's no longer the guy. Steindl, I mean, he got a 0 apparently, but this was a bad game. The only guy I can see here is potentially Max Darling, who should be back, but Lopez has now exploded. If Darling's back, is he going to affect Lopez as well, meaning that Lopez is a bad on-field option on top of it? Oh god, it's so hard, but this is really the only thing I can kind of look at and be fine with, because everyone else at that price tag, it doesn't work. And hopefully, even if Darling only earns, let's just say next 2 weeks he manages to make 30K, and then it's like, okay, he has to be traded. It's not the end of the world. He'll be 120K. Hopefully I can get him onto someone. Hopefully maybe other trades I've made has facilitated cash that maybe I can push up to someone else. Yeah. I wish I could go to like an Almonza or something, because that guy's getting court time and really looking good all of a sudden. He's coming online as well. As I mentioned, I kind of want Windler as well, but I just don't have the money for Windler. And like, unless I want to go like a Lopez out, which I don't. Because if I go Lopez out, then I've got to keep Robertson, unless I'm popping a boost, which then doesn't really do much for me anyway. I mean, I think Lopez down to Windler, it puts an extra 10K in my pocket, but it doesn't get me anyone else I want. It's still just bad. So that's trade option 1. It's not good, but it's kind of what I'm looking at. Trade option 2, it's going to be Adams in. Just for an alternate route. And then we're still kind of in the same situation, though, unfortunately. Even if I push Henschel up, I can't. Like, there's no one here I want. There's absolutely no one. McCarron isn't getting the court time. Neither is Kadee. Bruce isn't getting it anymore. Nah, none of these guys are the guy. This is not it. Slipping him down, yeah, it doesn't work either. I mean, I forgot the other name, the Bairstow kid as well, but I think he's 130k. Grant Anticevic has actually started coming online a little bit, but it's really just as a three-point shooter. Outside of that, he's not really doing much. Yeah, you can kind of see it in his scores. He's not doing enough. He's really just doing what he's priced at, which at that point, why would I not just keep Robertson? You know, why would I not just keep him? Let's just say hypothetically I did keep him. It's like, okay, that opens the door for so much more. I mean, if we get rid of like Lopez, then boom, we can basically get like everyone we want. Bannon, as I mentioned, potentially injured. Windler, he's got the 2 doubles, but Lopez has 4 doubles in a row. But he's got a good break even right now. He looks like he's come online. I do feel a lot better about that. I still feel like I have to deal with this Robertson problem though. Honestly, I just wish somebody was around Robertson's price I could move him to, but there just isn't. There just simply isn't. And even if I move like Henschel over like Webster, the extra 20k, it just doesn't do enough. I'm pretty sure it just doesn't do enough. Let's just say hypothetically, I move Henschel instead. It means I can get to like Froling for this side, but it still doesn't mean I can do anything with Robertson. Sorry guys, my nose is really blocking up here. It's really hard to decide, and I think I'll make that decision a bit later in the week. I do think the most obvious option that we should be looking at, and most simplest, it was just the original one we talked about, it is just simply Webster out, Robertson out, we go Bryce in, and we go, we'd probably go Darling in, maybe a Sean Bairstow, who's actually hit some good form, I'm pretty sure. Break-even's low enough. I'm pretty happy with what this kid's doing, and he's definitely getting a run, which I like. Yeah, he's doing well. Anyone that got on him early, like, congrats. And he's got 4 games in a row, so he can be a guy that we can just ride on the bench. And he's got the DPP as well, so he can flex with Henschel. So he works out really nice. I think that's probably my more favorite line. If Darling comes back, I don't even know if Darling does anything. I think Bairstow, I feel pretty confident. So I think this is the best line. And I think if I try and overcomplicate things like Adams in, Lopez out, hold on to Robertson. Yeah, Robertson's on a double, but he's on a double with, what's his break even at? It's still not any better. Like, sorry, I'm just going to quickly bring Robertson back down so I can click on him and check. Yeah, 22. He just doesn't look like he's anywhere near it at the moment, unfortunately. Unless we hear news that like Adams is like pulled up properly and he's not playing one of these games, then boom, reverse these trades, keep Robertson, we're good to go. Maybe we can go Lopez out for Windler instead. I don't know. Maybe we want to keep Lopez. Not sure. But yeah, I mean, this isn't bad. This means that I am set for next week as well. This could be, technically I could run this team 2 weeks in a row. I mean, I have Cook who could sub on for any of these guys, which feels really good to have like Cook, Bryce, and PJC. The only problem there is, as I said, then it does make me a bit thinner in the forwards. But there isn't really too many good forwards on this run right now. Maybe Bannon is someone we want to get in, but Bannon doesn't have like a good break even or anything like that. I'm just going to confirm this for now. So Bannon's break even. He has also potentially rolled his ankle, so we don't even know. It's a 30 break even on a single. We can really wait patiently on him and worry about him the following week. Yeah, I mean, if Lopez comes out and he gets like a 40 and he doesn't really look like he's going to be doing it, then we can maybe trade Lopez next week. Prather comes on next week as well if I want. Like, we have a lot of good options. Maybe someone can end up going to Harrison, because Harrison's got that really bad break even, and he's going to be losing cash. Really unfortunate for anyone that got on him and anyone that followed my captaincy advice, because I really thought he was guaranteed big buckets. But yeah, then he got foul trouble, which is, you know, you can't predict that. 3 games in a row where it's really poor, which is unfortunate because he's been, until that first game, really good up until these 3 sort of hit. But yeah, this week against Perth, if he can come out with a decent one, he's got that high break even on a single, 37. Let's say he comes out with a 30, good, kind of resets the break even, loses an extra 7k. It's not too much money up from one of these guys to Tyrell. In fact, it's money down from these 2 and up from Lopez, and maybe we can get Harrison in that way and then hold him throughout this massive stretch, which is what I would expect to do. But yeah, I guess that's our planning going forward. I've waffled on long enough. I've talked long enough. We're at 11 o'clock almost, so I'm going to jump on, as I said, do some streaming. So, look, I appreciate all those that have tuned in, liked, and subscribed to the get the consistent injections of Supercoach content directly into their YouTube feed. I'll put the link down below for my Twitch if you want to come on and watch. As I said, I'm probably going to be playing games by myself. Probably just playing League, honestly. Like, yeah. It's the only game I know how to play. I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm going to have a few hours of playing games. I can go learn a new game and feel bad about sucking, or I can just go play a game I know and probably still feel bad about sucking, but you know what? At least I know it. But till next time, guys. Peace later.